Well, I'm really excited because I got to tell you, I get to work with this team, SEAL Team 6, on a very regular basis. I'm so proud to introduce our state coordinator, Christy Berry, who just has done an amazing job through the years, but especially in the last 2 with Health Moves Minds. And Christy, I know you guys are getting ready for a small presentation. So Anna, if you could get that set up, that would be great. And Christy, I think there's only one way you can start the meeting, and that's with your patented way. Here we go.
Hey, MOSHAPE members! Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it. So, real quick, as Anna's bringing this up, Health Moves Minds program focuses on the needs of the modern day child. Right now, it's more important than ever that students feel safe, and Health Moves Minds is a program that teachers need to navigate in a school/virtual setting with COVID. Health Moves Minds also helps teachers incorporate the reentry considerations, especially around social emotional learning and creating a trauma-sensitive learning environment. Health Moves Minds also serves as an example to demonstrate how health and physical education teachers can incorporate social emotional learning seamlessly into their existing programs. And you're right, kindness is everything. And this is actually the design of this year's t-shirt. So Anna, if you can go ahead and change the slides. I would like to introduce my wonderful Health Moves Minds team along with the special guest, myself, who is the team leader. And then I also have Terry Gardner, who is Central District President and Board of Directors with MOSHAPE. I also have Kyle Salvo, who is an Health Moves Minds committee member, and Anna Forsalito is also a Health Moves Minds committee member as well. I can't see Anna, so I don't know if she's doing her sign or not, sorry. And then the mastermind behind all of this, our special guest, and I know she's been introduced more than once already, Shape America's Michelle Carter.
Yay! Yay. Is this my turn to talk?
Yep, go ahead and introduce yourself. I can't really see what's going on with my setup.
Okay,
so.
no worries. Well, hi everybody. I'm happy to be here. MOSHAPE is such a well-oiled machine. They set such a great example for the other state affiliates, and I'm so happy to be here and talk to you all today. I'm the Director of Educational Content and Programs at Shape America. I'm a former health and PE teacher. I taught in the District of Columbia Public Schools in Washington, D.C. And so that experience there, I taught in Title I schools, I've taught in more affluent schools, and everything in between that has really shaped and brought me to where I'm at Shape America. And I feel so fortunate and blessed to have my position here because I get to work like members of MOSHAPE, Christy, Anna, Kyle, Terry, everybody. And I love what I do. And I really love this program. So I serve as internal subject matter expert in health and physical education. And I'm the lead content director for Health Moves Minds. And I also do our Teacher of the Year program. I manage that as well. So kind of got my hands in a lot of bit of everything, content related, you know, I put eyes on it at least. So I'm happy to be here to assist you all and help answer questions as needed.
Well, we are very happy to have you. So I appreciate you taking your time out with us tonight.
And one of the things, Michelle, if you could just describe a few of the things, because many of the people here were registered last year, but in some cases not able to run their program. So if you want to just sort of describe the new incentive program for people that were in that situation.
Yes, so we know that this has been a very interesting year. So people were planning to do events in February, March, and that later half of the 2019-2020 school year. And because of the way things shifted in the environment and schools closing down, that some people may not have been able to complete events, and that was their intent. So what we're doing is schools that registered last year, that if they sign up, and I'll be honest, I can't remember the date specifically,
November
but
13.
November 13th, World Kindness Day. If you sign up by that day, we will send you a set of t-shirts, last year's incentive t-shirts, the ones that you may have seen SEAL Team 6 wear, the Cool to Be Kind. So we'll send you varying sizes that you can use as your own incentives within your school or however you want to use those. But we'll send you a shipment of t-shirts to your school for those that sign up for November 13th. And that's for schools that were signed up last year that are going to sign up again this year to host an event.
Yes, and additionally, you have completed the entire K-12 set of lessons now. The high school program is established and ready to go. And we have Bill Casey speaking at our convention as well. So we have Michelle and Bill plus our own SEAL Team 6. So it's going to be a great big push for
Absolutely.
minds, and not just the fundraising part of it. That's critically important to us because we're operating on a zero income budget this year, zero. And so in coming years, we're looking at this to be a big driver in what we will be able to do with our programming. And yet at the same time, the lessons are so solid and so sound that it's just critically important that we enroll as many schools as we possibly can. And Christy, I think you've got a little incentive with Jamie, don't you, for enrolling schools?
Well, it's not just my incentive. I think it's Jamie's incentive for anybody and everybody. Anna, if you can go ahead and turn to the next slide, please.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a look back. We were very fortunate to have Jamie Sparks and Yasmin at MOSHAPE 2019, promoting the Shape America's Health Moves Minds. With that program means so much to Jamie that, yes, he's actually getting the symbols from this program tattooed on his body, as you can see. So there was a challenge to get 160 schools registered, and we accepted that challenge, and that's kind of where Mo Tattoo for Sparks kind of took off and grew from there. So then in February of 2020, he did get his first tattoo there with part of my team. I was not able to make it because of the lovely Missouri weather, snow and ice, but that's okay. I was able to communicate with them via Zoom. And then in March, when COVID kind of hit, we did something called Chalk Your Walk. It did go international also with 44 states and 3 countries. And that was huge for us. And then Jamie means a lot to this state's organization. And he, kind of took us under his wing, I think. And just really, he's part of our family. So when we had to pass the torch on to Brett, we felt like it was kind of important to do a Sparks tribute mountain music montage. And we were very fortunate that Judy sang that for us because I'm not much of a country singer. And then we also participated in a Health Moves Minds webinar in June of 2020 with now Shape America's Sean Nevels. So got to throw that in there too for our bud. So if you can go ahead and turn the slide again. I want to get a little excited about this because who needs Health Moves Minds? Everyone. Isn't that right, Anna?
That's right, Christy. Everyone needs Health Moves Minds. And I love this slide. Like, I love this photo, this image, because it shows how many skills at each grade level are utilized and kids are learning. And if you see, there's a few different skills that are gone from K through 12, and some are specialized in middle school, some specialize more at the high school level. I teach 7th grade, so I can tell you that we use so many of these skills every day, especially a mindful minute or better breathing, muscle relaxation. We do these things almost every day, and I'm 100% virtual right now. I will tell you that it's been wonderful because of the sense of community that is actually built with allowing kids to feel safe to recognize what's going on inside of them and then to be able to identify that. And it's just been really, really powerful to see. And just even though we are virtual, we can still build a relationship and a sense of community with our classes and with our students. And that's what our goal is. So I'm going to go ahead and go to our next slide here with Kyle's going to kick us off with Halted.
So Halted, hello everybody. This is an activity that kind of takes the focus off the students before they open up when you do stations like this. And Halted is an acronym. It stands for hungry, angry, lonely, tired, embarrassed, and disappointed. So by focusing on these characters, it doesn't make it feel like the students are directly speaking about themselves when they're put into a station. And you start to build that culture or climate of trust. And when you see that student can relate to each other, they're going to start to kind of associate those feelings with students and kind of show right there, and then more empathy towards that student. And that's one of our skills that we're trying to teach. One of the emotions, which was hungry, it hit me like a ton of bricks my second year of teaching. It was a little kindergartner girl, and she came in, and usually she was really upbeat. She was energetic. She was a great student, especially for a kindergartner. And that day she came in and she wasn't having it. She was lethargic. She was emotional. She was defiant. And I'll be honest with you, I got down to her level, and I was like, what in the world is going on? You know, you're not typically like this. You better snap out of it, you know, or we're going to be talking with mom and dad. And she goes, I'm hungry. And I'm like, well, okay, what did you have for breakfast? And she goes, I didn't. I'm like, okay, well, you were running late. What did you have for dinner last night? And she responds with, I didn't. And right then and there, I was like, hold on just 1 second. You mean to tell me that the last meal you ate was lunch yesterday here at school? And she goes, yeah. So right then and there, I wrote an email, or I wrote a Post-it note. I sent her to the nurse and I said, you give this girl every piece of food you have in the clinic. She came back about 15, 20 minutes later. She had crackers pasted to her whole face, but she was back to normal. She was her smiling self. And it was because she was hungry. You know, you don't think that these things can make that much of a difference, but they make an enormous difference. So got kind of hit a little bit hard there. So if we go to the next slide, sorry about that. This right here, these are two, and you want to go to the next slide? Thanks. These are
Showing up?
of, yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. So these are strategies like the emoji rating scale or the daily check-ins that part of the Health Moves Minds. So right here, you can see for those elementary level kids on the left-hand side, you've got the emojis. If they're having trouble reading, you can use the numbers. Just show me a numbers 1, 2, 3 based on how you're feeling. And then that way you can kind of, instead of singling that student out, you can go to that student throughout the class and have a one-on-one conversation with them. Or if they're super embarrassed, you can go back to their classroom and just kind of stick over their shoulder and say, hey, I noticed you threw up a 4 earlier in the class. Is there anything you need to talk about? Or a 5 if they're worried. Hey, if there's anything you need to talk about, I'm always here. All right. You've got your self-care checklist or check-in in the middle. And then for the high schoolers, you've got your how am I feeling? This is just a great way to check in on the students without kind of singling them out. So these are all part of the Health Moves Minds lessons that you'll have access to when you register your school. Thanks a lot. We're going to hand this back off to Anna.
Thank you. I pressed unmute. And I will tell you that I use both of these. I use this exact slide for my middle schoolers, so they can identify with both levels, the elementary and the high school, because they're transitioning right now. So it's a really powerful thing to have them both together on one slide. And because some of them identify with one side, some of them identify with stuff on the other side. And when they can actually get into that stuff on the deeper level stuff, it's really cool to see that they're obviously feeling safe and, you know, to sharing that information. So I just wanted to add that to it. So thank you. And So last year we put on a random acts of kindness in our school. And I have to tell you, I joined this team in February, and I was actually a little bit skeptical of how fast my middle schoolers were going to catch on. And I had to say that up front because, you know, Christy is telling me, Anna, they catch on, like this language, they catch on so quickly. It's so unreal. And she was right. And it was amazing. We had a random acts of kindness week, and these are my students. They are writing post-it notes of kindness and strengths and compliments to my students, to each other. And within a week, the culture of the whole school completely shifted between students with their teachers, teachers to teachers, just throughout the entire school. They were giving each other more compliments. You just saw them just being kind to each other even more and going out of their way. And that's one of the things about Health Moves Minds that I love so much, that these kids, once again, they're given tools in order to navigate what's going on, but also to navigate in a way to show like, it's okay to be kind. And sometimes I think that you need that. So moving on, it's so powerful. We have tons of educational material that go K through 12. And what you're seeing up there is just, there's 4 different educational kits, and the high school was released earlier this year. There's worksheet templates, there's assessment sheets, there's combination for PE and health. And there's huge virtual resources online as well. There's a new app that's out, which I love. And it just shows how flexible and just how it can apply to any platform, especially in a time like this right now. So we love this slide. Moving on to the next slide, and I'm going to hand it off to, oh, no, I'm going to say it one more time about, sorry, I'm going to talk about the virtual resources. Terry, I was jumping the gun for you. I was ready for you to come in. But the virtual resources that we have, I love to be able to use. The Mind and Body Calendar we had been handing out all summer via Twitter and Facebook. And one thing I will point out about the Mind and Body Calendar, which is my favorite thing, is that it is offered in English and in Spanish. So having it offered in multiple languages, I think, is, once again, just shows you how diverse and how available this is for everybody. It's not just for any one particular type of student. It is for every single student. So Terry, I am now going to hand it back over to you so we can move on to the next one.
Thank you, Anna.
You're welcome.
I was going to jump in there, but I was like, I don't think that's my slide. But here we go. We're good. So now we've done a review. We've talked about a lot of the resources, and now we want to look ahead and see what's to come in the future. And most importantly, we want to make sure that more teachers, more students, more schools are using the Health Moves Minds curriculum. That's number one. We want more people engaged. We also would love to be the first state to register 160 schools by November 13th, that day of kindness. And this group started the hashtag Finish What We Started, which is really cute, catchy, it's awesome, but we're gonna do that. We're gonna finish what we started. And then of course we have Michelle Carter to look forward to at our November virtual convention. And Michelle, since you're here with us tonight, why don't you give us a little sneak peek about what we're going to see in November?
Sure. So I've been talking to Christy and we've been brainstorming a little bit. And really my hope is to give you all, like, been doing a great job sharing the resources, but I'd love to kind of demo some of that stuff. So I'm hoping to do kind of more an activity thing. I'm thinking about how I can set that up, demo how this can look. In between that, as a teaser too, on October 27th, one of our Teachers of the Year will be showing how, we'll be releasing a little video on how she virtualized her Health Moves Minds lessons. So we have our virtual resource guide that is online right now to give you ideas on how you can take our lessons and use them in a virtual setting. And then on October 27th, we'll have a It's called a Toy Talk Tuesday video, and we'll be talking even more in depth about how you can take the lessons, use them virtually. But my hope is to you, go K through 12, highlight the new resources, really give you more in depth into how you can use these resources in various ways. How you can, if you're virtual now, how you can incorporate some of these resources as a routine so that even when you go in person, you're still continuing that normalcy. You don't have a lot to change and you're still building this foundation with them. We really want you to use these educational materials. Figure out how you can use them for you. We have a great start. These lessons are a great foundation, but they're just to get you started. I know teachers are going to look at this and have so many more ideas to make it even better and work for your students. And that's what we want to do. We want to empower you, which is one of our, what we want to do with students. But from Shape America, we want to empower you with as teachers to start with our lessons and then look at them as an example of how you can start incorporating more SEL into your own lessons through a basketball unit, a soccer unit, any other activities. It's not a one and done, oh, I did my Health Moves Minds unit and now we don't touch on this stuff until next school year. It's things that are embedded without. It starts in your class. It spreads throughout the school. It becomes a part of the culture. If you already have SEL in your school, how can you say, hey, I want to be a part of this? There's this great new program. I have some things. Adapt what you're already doing. Bring it into your classroom too. Be a leader in that way. So I want to talk about all of that. I genuinely think this is a game changer for our profession. And we spend, I was talking to somebody earlier today about how we spend a lot of time teaching about our physical health and the benefits of physical activity on our physical health, and like all, the skills that we use for goal setting or some of these other things, but spending more time on that emotional piece, our mental health, and making really that mind-body connection. Being physically active and eating healthy isn't just because we want to, we do physically, it has benefits, but there's so much other benefits today with that too. How you feel about yourself, being proactive in some of these things, learning about yourself so that you truly do have this, you're living this overall healthy life. So that's a little snapshot of what I want to talk about more in depth in November. I get very excited about it. So I love what you all are doing and I can't wait to share more. We have our new advocacy lesson. So as Tom said, or someone said earlier, K through 12. Right now, we're going to be releasing this month our next piece for the high school lessons, which the new skill in high school is around advocating. So being able to stand up for yourself and advocate for your health, advocate for the health of others, building on the skills that have been from kindergarten through. So really, ideally, we would hope that someone coming through kindergarten and they could go through the whole program by the time that they graduate.
I love that. I just have to say, I love all of that. I'm so excited to have the new advocacy piece come out. So thank you so much for sharing all of that. That was amazing. Terry?
That's wonderful. And Michelle, I want to touch on something that you mentioned, expand on it a little bit. You said that teachers can adapt the lessons, and I teach at a school for severely disabled now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to take that curriculum. This curriculum truly is for everyone, and was able to adapt and use it with my students. And it was amazing. But I want teachers to know that it's for all grade levels and it's for all students. It's the most inclusive curriculum I've ever experienced. So that's
amazing.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
right?
You made me smile big on that one. Like, that's awesome to hear. I'd love to hear more about what you're doing and how we can promote, like if you have, ways that you've tweaked lessons or ones that you've created, we want to share what the teachers that are doing the hard work on the ground, how we can uplift you and share what you're doing as well.
Absolutely. But thank you so much. And we look forward to your presentation in November. And this next slide, because of COVID and what we're dealing with as educators right now, our world right now, you can fundraise virtually. And actually last spring, when a lot of the schools closed down, most everyone closed down, I was part way into my fundraiser, and I actually ended up finishing it virtually. And now it's so much easier because we have all of these resources from Shape America. The cool thing about Health Moves Minds, you can fundraise without selling physical items or in-person contact. And you also have the opportunity to give back to local groups, whether it's your PTA, a charity, maybe a booster club, all kinds of options there. And we all know it's just so important right now to keep our students engaged during this time, especially with distance learning and all the virtual stuff. And the cool thing about the virtual events is we're celebrating school spirit, and then we're also incorporating those SEL skills into that. So it's just really awesome. With the new features that are highlighted here on this slide, Facebook fundraising is seamless. The way I did it last spring was not seamless, but we got through it. We struggled through it, but now because of these resources, it's just seamless. And the new mobile app that allows you to fundraise like with a click of your finger. That's pretty awesome. And we can go on to the next slide, Anna.
That's important, Terry. I know if I can get through it on my phone, that makes a world of difference. Being able to tap through that.
It's so easy to use. It's extremely user friendly. I'm a huge fan. I go to it almost every day. Mostly to see how many schools have showed up because, you know, we're a little competitive in MOSHAPE, but
no, we're not. Don't get Christy started.
But I do, the resources are right in front of you. You can easily tap into the lesson plans. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so this slide right here, this is what we're going to call our call to action slide. And our first call to action for all of you is we need you to shoulder tap from a distance, but we need you shoulder tapping, and we need you reaching out to your friends and your colleagues and really talking about Health Moves Minds, the resources available to you, the curriculum, and how that impacts. We all know it impacts your students, it impacts your staff, and it can change your whole school and community climate. So this resource, we want it available to everyone. And the main way we're going to do that is to share the information and reach out to those people around us. And secondly, we would love to hashtag finish what we started and get those 160 schools to register and sign up. But that's a byproduct. The first focus is getting our people using the curriculum and using all those resources and those opportunities. And World Kindness Day, you know what? We at MOSHAPE believe that you should be kind all the time, but we really want you to be intentional and share kindness lessons and activities that whole week of November 9th through the 13th. What else, you guys?
Great job, everybody. Great job. Kyle, I've heard that halted story I don't know how many times, and I still get goosebumps and tears in my eyes, bud. That story is very powerful.
It is definitely one of my defining moments when I teach. So yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't get a little choked up and emotional when I tell it as well.
Kyle, I was just glad I didn't have the next slide because I was kind of like feeling that way too. My voice would have been a little shaky right after that.
I know, that's what I'm like,
that's
man.
It's very powerful.
It is. It's just a reminder to, you know, we don't know every kid's story when they come into your classroom.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anna, can you put everybody's faces back on?
Absolutely. Look at this we'll kind of stay world pretty thing out this whole entire the rest of the time.
Just leave it up there. That's good. I will say, you know, following up on what Kyle's story was, first of all, don't do that on my first meeting. I don't want to get emotional in front of everybody on my first time here. Not good. But, you know, first of all, you know, I unfortunately have had experiences very similar to that. You know, fortunately, because it made me a better person and a better educator for my students, but unfortunately, because it makes me, you know, further my understanding of that happens all over like the country and probably the world. And it's really unfortunate, you know, it's a variable to education that a lot of us, you know, never anticipated, you know, going through school, becoming teachers, becoming a part of education, that you worry about your instructional style and your lecturing and not, you know, some of those emotional things and some of those at-home things. And I don't want to, you know, I have a whole bunch of stories that I could go into about that kind of stuff, because I've worked with lots of Title I schools, and, you know, even, you know, some of that stuff, sometimes I would expect, you know, that there's, you know, lower income communities and that some of that might happen, but it happens all over, you know, affluent neighborhoods. I mean, it happens all over the place. And I think some of those slides are really powerful, and those are great resources. And even before it was stated, I was thinking of a whole bunch of administrators that I was going to forward those links to, that I think, you know, schools that I've been a part of or districts that I want to have that. You know, none of them are in Missouri, but I don't, you know, that none of that matters. I want to send them anywhere I can, because I know so many students and families and schools I think could use that, and that it's not covered enough. And that's something that a lot of educators struggle to be able to process with their students, that they're not trained well on how to handle those incidences and how, you know, sending them to the nurse to get the crackers, you know, it's a beautiful story. I mean, that's a really, you know, great reaction. And, you know, my story, one of my stories about it was having a group of students that, you know, the week before Christmas break, they weren't looking forward to break. And you could see it. You could see that they were getting down, and they were just depressed. And I mean, I was like, you get to, you know, it talks about Santa Claus and about Christmas trees and stuff like that. And it was because, you know, they don't have structure at home. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they're doing. And, you know, school gives them that constant meal, that teacher that is, you know, their teacher to come say hi to in the hallway. And, you know, it's, you know, this program just made me think of that, where it's, you know, things that we might not always think about, that educators can really use that. And that's a huge impact on kids, more than PE curriculum, more than health. I mean, that's a pivotal part that we can offer that. And my big thing was, you know, the shoulder tapping of, I hope this does not stop with us. I hope that this is spread into other curriculums and becomes part of just school identities, not so much just this curriculum. So, you know, that's really powerful stuff. And I'm glad that I was here to, you know, be a part of that. So thank you for that, really.
And Michelle,
Awesome. Thank you, Zach.
I'd also like to make a comment, Michelle,
Mhm.
that I've personally heard from many of our members who have sponsored these programs and found that the programs do as much to elevate them as it does what they're doing to young people. So, you know, this is one of the things that all of us get so caught up in the daily activities, what we have to do in 5 minutes, all these types of things, instead of just sitting back and put it into perspective, what really matters. And when you reach out and help a child feel welcome and important, that movie a few years ago, The Help, if you'll remember that movie, the statement that was made to this little girl, you're beautiful,
You are smart.
you're smart, and
yeah.
you're loved.
Mhm.
This is probably the most important issues that we can help people with. And so I really think that every teacher who takes on this program is going to benefit. Not only that, but when Bill Casey will be speaking to us at the convention, I asked him to include the 1 minute and 52-second YouTube video that his superintendent made. And the superintendent said that the program that Bill did at Neuqua Valley as part of the pilot project changed the entire culture of the 35,000 student district. And it was probably the most powerful thing to advance achievement, engagement, everything that we're all about.
Yeah.
And so we're thrilled to have you here. And one other comment that I remember from last Friday's meeting we had, a couple of the states indicated that some of the schools who signed up for their charity, they selected the school PTA.
Yes, that's one of the options. So the great thing about, there's a lot of great things about this program, but there is a lot of flexibility to make it look the way that you want for your school. I always use Christie as one of our pilot schools, and how one of the charity they chose that year was to support their K-9 unit in their local police department. The same thing. Team up with your PTA or your PTO. If they have a good fundraiser going, you can tag on. Can we work together? Talk about how a check can come to the PTA from Shape America. It also, this Gopher gift card that has a lot of different brands, where we can spend the money, and you can even support STEM. There's a lot that you can do with it. It supports your local, your state organization, your national organization, and it supports your local school community. So the school and your local community gets the most benefit.
And right now, Michelle, we have 2 university clubs, majors clubs, who have registered. Dennis's school, University of Central Missouri, and Northwest Missouri State. Both of them are registered now as sponsored for Health Moves Minds.
Yep. We have another school in Pennsylvania. There's a couple that are using it to raise money for their Pete Majors clubs, and that way they can use the gift cards to purchase equipment for when they're doing their, I'm losing my, you know what I'm saying, when they go out, they're teaching for their you know what I'm saying. I'm having
Student teaching.
There you go. I don't know why that escaped me.
It's all right.
Student teaching. Some are choosing to donate to schools. They've already are going to donate to PE. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. But really what we keep talking about, like if you think about everything, there's a reason that you can go to a kindergartner and they love it. And there's a reason you can go to a 12th grader and that they love it. And there's a reason why teachers feel like they feel empowered and are growing even just by teaching it, because we all at the core of it, we all have feelings. We all feel, and learning how to not just go through life and ignore them, or to realize that they're normal and they're healthy. We're teaching students like real healthy skills that can be applied anywhere. I mean, there's so many great stories about, and that's what we want our kids, our students to do, is take the things that they learn in your class and apply it in real life. And so I'm going to stop there.
That's awesome. And a couple things I was thinking about while you were talking. This program aligns perfectly with the WISC model, because we're talking about the whole child, and this program supports the whole child, and that's awesome. We appreciate you being here, Michelle, so much, and for you sharing with us. And we've got some members on the call that are maybe have some questions. So what we want to know from here on is, what do you need from us? Whether you're on this call right now or you're watching the recording, what do you need from us? How can we help you implement the Health Moves Minds curriculum in your school, in your setting? And we want you to contact us. If there's something that, if somebody has a question tonight, we'd love to entertain those questions. But also know that you can contact us if you're watching the recording, and we're all in different settings at different levels. And if one of us can't answer it, we'll get you to someone that can help you. So I'm going to turn it back to Guy and let him do his thing.
Yeah, thanks, Terry. And if you guys that are on live right now, if you just really want to ask your question in the chat, I just do want to make a comment to Michelle. Michelle, I've had the privilege and opportunity in the last 2 weeks talking about the WISC model. I've actually interviewed the co-founders, Sean Slade and Dr. Bill Potts Datema. And in Missouri, we've doubled down as a part of DESE initiative that basically COVID equals foundational health. And I just want to say what a great job you and Shape America has done to be so responsive in real time with really three main things. Number one has certainly been being able to have the SEL component even further developed than what you had a year ago. Of course, the WISC model, which we just talked about. And then the other one is the virtual piece. I think that that makes it so applicable right now, because we're seeing the WISC models align so much nicer. We had a statewide webinar earlier today with Bill Botstatema and a few other people talking about this exact thing. So we see this convergence of what's going on in our state at the DESE level, also on our side as MOSHAPE, really coming together and aligning with what you, Michelle, and Shape America has been doing. And we just want to say, just thank you so much, because it is making a difference and it will continue to make a difference.
Thank you. I'm proud to be here to represent Shape America, and we'll share your comments back with the team. We're happy to have Sean now a part of that team, and all the teachers that really put the proof behind the work by implementing the program with their students, because we really wouldn't be able to do that. We wouldn't be anywhere if it weren't for the teachers like you all that are doing the program. So happy to be here.
Absolutely, and we can't wait to see you later in November. It's also going to be fun having you back. So with that, Tom, I guess we'll just throw it back to you for the final word here on our MOSHAPE Virtual Town Hall.
Well, just speaking for all of you people that I work for, how lucky I am to have the leadership and the involvement that you all give to us. Dennis is, I've always enjoyed working with Dennis, and each one of you. We have not only a team, that's our human resources capital, but we have the technological capital, and we're using it. And as far as I'm concerned, I could talk with Guy 50 times a day, just like I did with Terry. And still like to connect with so many of you. We're moving it forward, but it's an idea. It's not me, it's not Dennis, it's not Christy, it's not Kyle, it's not Anna, it's not Terry, it's not Guy. We're working in an integrated fashion. We know what we want to accomplish, and everyone has bought into it. And so we need to expand the number of people who are so dedicated and deeply involved in this. We have room for you. We are willing to meet your needs. Whatever you need, you contact us, because I'll turn it over to our SEAL Team 6, and I'll turn it over to our social media people with Chris and Mary and Guy, and we'll get it done. I greatly appreciate all your time tonight, and for the involvement. Michelle, always a thrill to have you with us. Yeah. And we look forward to November, and all the people that help to contribute to this and are a part of MOSHAPE. We need you. Let's get moving. Thanks a lot, Guy.
All right, guys.
I have one thing. I think I saw it in the chat, but I'm not for sure. Beth, it's okay if you're not tech savvy. I'm not very tech savvy either. Write this number down, please. I won't give you my cell phone. 816-682-5068. You call me if you have questions. I will screenshot. I will FaceTime you. I will walk you through it if you need help.
I appreciate it.
I've done that several times with others, and we are here to help, any of us. And don't be afraid to ask this team any questions or reach out, because this program means a lot to all of us. I've been lucky enough, this is my 3rd year, and today, for example, we're playing soccer, and one of my 4th and 5th graders that's been through this program is like, I need a second. I have to go over here and take a mindful minute. And they go and do that, and they come back on their own without having a breakdown. My teachers are like, how do you get your kids to listen to you so good? I said, I just need respectful listening. You show me respectful listening, and that's all I say. And they don't talk while I talk. And then when they know I'm done, they can go on. So, and just like today, I walked by my music teacher's room and I stopped because I thought she was like, fell out of her chair and was like hurt. She was actually on the floor doing a mindful minute. And that's the first time I've ever caught a teacher in that setting. I thought I was about ready to throw the door open thinking she was hurt or something, because you just don't see that very often throughout the day. But there are more and more people right now with what we're dealing with. When you see the teachers really taking that, it's hitting home because they've all been involved with me and that program in my building. So please reach out. I will help you if ever we need.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the
Christy,
recording has taught
can
me
I
a
tell
lot
you,
about.
Christy, that
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I hope a couple thousand people watch the recording and they all call you.
Hey, if they do, they do. My number's out there, so.
Beth, my number is in the chat box as well, so please feel free to reach out. I have your email address. So, and if my Twitter on the chat box as well. But I also, my team teacher, actually, I saw him doing some better breathing during one of our classes today. So I'm virtual, but like I team teach with the other 7th grade PE teacher, and I was teaching, and in the middle of it, I look over and he's leaning back and doing some better breathing exercises, just like slowly, just taking a minute to himself. And I look out, like, okay, awesome, great. Because I mean, he was not completely, I think he was also a little bit, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but we're going to do it because I know that this is a really great thing. So it was just awesome to see him doing that at that moment today. So I love it, Christy. I love that you shared that story. I had to add to it because it is really, really powerful.
Well, Michelle, again, I appreciate you getting to meet some of this MOSHAPE family. I promise you, she will be in person at one of our conventions, Tom.
Please, I need to come to see Missouri. I want to come see. I need to come see you all and spend some time.
We will see that you come back in 21. You'll love the lodge.
Good.
Well, I appreciate everyone tonight. Does anybody else have any final words?
Thank you. Thank you guys for coming and joining us. And thanks, Michelle, for joining us. And we love you. So thank you so much for all that you do.
Well, guys, I'll wrap it up on behalf of MOSHAPE. We want to thank you guys for tuning in on this very special edition, MOSHAPE Virtual Town Hall. We want to thank our guest, Michelle Carter, again, for all that you do for us. And again, as Tom Lowry said, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us because we are working for you. With that, have a great night.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.